Hey, I'm Sue Livingston, today's celebrant. My pronouns are she and her. Thank you for gathering with us today, those of you joining us on Zoom, and all of you here in the sanctuary. All who come in the spirit of goodwill are welcome. I'd like to highlight an announcement that's printed in your order of service about March 1st. Following the service, there's going to be a very inspiring Ken Burns documentary aired right here in the sanctuary about a Unitarian response to persecution and imprisonment of minorities called Defying the Nazis, Sharp's War. And more details are in your printed order of service, this guy. And lastly, after today's service, those of you that would like a tour around the building to get to know where things are and all the hidden corners and pockets tucked away, Felice will be leading a tour. She's here somewhere with a sign. I don't see her. She's not here. Where is she? She's coming. There she is. Hello, Felice. So gather near Felice at the end of service if you'd like to have a building tour. And now we're going to listen to a prelude by Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie. Good morning, everyone. How lovely to see all your faces. I am the Reverend Dr. Barbara Wells Tenhove. She and her. I'm an affiliated minister here at Bellingham Unitarianm Fellowship, warmly known as Buff. And I retired 9 years ago with my husband, Jocko, who will be participating a little bit in today's service as well, as Minister Emerita of the Cedars UU Church on Bainbridge Island, where I understand a small group of Buffsters are going next week to do a service. We are just all interconnected. It's a beautiful thing. I am so grateful to our minister, Sunny McMillan, who is not here this morning, taking a Sunday off. Yes, good for her. Good for her. Some of you may remember that I served briefly as your transitional support minister through September, and so it's fun to be back in the pulpit again. And I'm going to be reflecting on some spiritual insights into the realm of doubt. But before I do, let me acknowledge that this is February, not only a tendency toward a dreary month, but also a wonderful month as we celebrate Black history. But instead of celebrating, many of us are grieving at the ways our country is trying to erase the contributions of our Black, brown, and indigenous neighbors from the story of our nearly 250-year-old democracy. Here at Buff, we refuse to do that. And later in the service, you'll hear a brief story about an amazing Black woman whose work in the 19th century had a huge impact on American literature, suffrage, and abolition. I also want to acknowledge the recent death of an icon of the civil rights movement, preacher and statesman Jesse Jackson. Reverend Jackson died on February 17, and it's so fitting that he died during Black History Month, as much of his life and ministry was dedicated to bringing out the pride and power of Black Americans. Let's take a moment together in quiet to just appreciate the many gifts this complex and remarkable man brought to our nation. And finally, let's remember that we are in the midst of our stewardship drive, and I know a lot of you were here Friday night enjoying baked potatoes, and if you've not seen the potato sculptures out in the lobby, please do. But this is a time when we make a commitment to this beloved community to be generous so that it can become an even stronger bearer of our values. And later we'll hear from Beth Fuller about why and how she supports our congregation. But for now, let's sing a wonderful song about community, written by the great Canadian UU songwriter Joyce Poley. It's hymn 1008. The words will be up on the screen. And we invite you to join in singing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place.
The older I get, the more I feel I am supposed to know what I know, with articulate certainty. I hear myself saying, I should know this by now. And yet, as my dad used to say, so I know he felt it too. The older I get, the less I know. Whereas dogma lays a one-way track, life moves us in spirals that widen with mystery as our experience deepens. And to an open heart and mind, I think there will always be more to wonder and less to know for sure. As Barbara lights our flaming chalice, the symbol of our faith this morning, we celebrate being willing explorers in living the questions that life offers us. And now will you please join us in saying our covenant. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service gives it life. Celebrating our diversity and joined by a quest for truth, we work for peace and honor all creation. This is our covenant.
At this time, I'd like to invite all the children and youth up to the front as you are willing and able to hear a little Time for All Ages story. So in RE for the month of February, we're talking about resilience. And today, we're going to talk about resilience through humor by talking about a little girl from Baltimore. Frances was born in 1825, a free black girl living in Maryland when slavery still existed all around her. Her parents died when she was very young, but she was raised by an uncle who ran a school for African American children. Growing up surrounded by books and learning, Frances discovered something important. Stories can change people. Words can make the world better. Frances became famous for her poems, her writing, and her powerful speeches. She traveled all over the country speaking out for freedom, fairness, and justice. And she saw painful things like racism, cruelty, and laws that harmed people. But she did something remarkable. She mixed courage with humor, strength with warmth, and truth with a gentle smile. So she is one of our UU ancestors. And here's a story of how she used humor. One day in 1858, Frances stepped onto a streetcar in Philadelphia and sat down. The white conductor told her she had to get off because she was black. Frances didn't argue or shout. She simply stayed right where she was, calm, steady, and full of quiet courage. Another passenger tried to help by saying maybe she could sit in a corner. Frances stayed seated. When she reached her stop, she got up, offered her fare, and when the conductor refused to take it, she dropped the coin on the floor with a little flourish and walked away. She later told the story with humor, not to make the injustice smaller, but to help people see how ridiculous and wrong racism was. Her storytelling helped to open hearts. It helped people understand, and it helped them imagine a better world. And we are going to do something fun upstairs for an activity to help us imagine a better world. So let's sing our kids up to their classes.
Oh, and I'm waiting for the screen to go up. I got a haircut. Thank you. Really? They can't hear me over that? Yes, I need that. My name is Beth Fuller, and I was asked to briefly speak today on why I make an annual pledge to Buff. I've been a member of 3 different UU congregations in my life, the first one being the one my family attended in Schenectady, New York, when I was a toddler. When I was 19, I joined that congregation, making my first official pledge of $10 a month. In reflecting on the 3 congregations I've attended and the impact each has had on my life, I realize that I've been making a monthly pledge to a UU church for 50 years. Yeah.
Half a century.
Each of these congregations had a distinct personality, and each met my needs at the stage of life I was in at the time. The why of choosing the churches and why I wanted to pledge to my UU church is, well, they're the places where my people are, where you all are. I feel like I could attend any random UU church or fellowship anywhere in the country, and I have done this, and I would have an enjoyable time. The people I meet are sort of pre-sorted to be the kind of folks I would choose as friends. The second UU church I joined was in Salt Lake City. Yeah, that's another story. Another time, maybe. I was 23 years old, and I had somewhat impulsively moved there to join a friend and start a new chapter of my life. And then the last church was my move to Bellingham with my future husband when I was 29. Actually, he was my husband by then. Every time I knew I would find my friends, my choirs, a group of folks that I could learn from and who would influence my development, and that eventually would influence my children. I'm a person who needs people. Cue Barbara Streisand. I'm the luckiest person in the world, and it's true. I'm a grateful pledger because I believe religiously that our UU congregations must continue to exist. I always want there to be a place for us, for all of us, to find. At 19, at 23, at 30, 50, 90 years old, and I try each year to step my pledge up a few bucks, if I can. I want UUs to thrive. Buff needs to be here in the future for us people who need people.
Thank you, Beth. And now, in the spirit shared by Beth towards our important social good works, will the ushers please come forward? We will be passing the basket in the room, and for all of you on Zoom, instructions will show up on your screen for how to give.
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you to all of you for your generosity through the plate collection, through your pledges, through the many ways that you give to this incredible place that we call our religious home. These are really just unprecedented times we're living in, and it's very hard, at least for me, to feel like I can do anything. And most of the time I can't. And I do have an echo. Am I underneath something? Am I echoing now? Yes, I am. I'm going to stop and we're going to fix that, yeah? Let me get one. How about this? Okay. Take two. Let's breathe. I'd like to invite you, if you choose, to participate with me in a form of prayer that I learned almost 40 years ago now from a wonderful UU minister named Mark Bellatini. And it's a way for us to bring into this space, into the arms of this beloved community, all of the joys and sorrows that we're holding in our hearts, and to bring them here. So let's just begin once again by breathing. Gracious One, whom we call by many names, we are living in unprecedented times, and there is so much that we struggle with, so much that we are sad about. In the midst of that struggle, it's important to remember that there is joy, that there is happiness even. If you or someone in your life is going through a particularly good time, some wonderful thing has happened, a blessing has occurred, a relationship has thrived, a new door has opened. If you or someone you love has had a wonderful thing happen, I invite you to just say gently into the circle of this community that simple word, yes. Yes. They say joy is an act of resistance, and let us never forget the many joys that we hold in our hearts and feel gratitude, so much gratitude. But it is also true that there are those among us who are struggling, people who are ill, loved ones who have died, strangers that we are worried about, our country. If there is someone in your life that you would like to bring into the circle of this beloved community so that they may know from afar that we are here and caring for them, first I invite you to bring their face into your mind's eye. And then think of their name or something that represents them to you. And if you choose, I invite you to speak that name or that image into the circle of this community now. May all those we've named and those names that live in our hearts but remain unspoken, and all those who we do not know but who are suffering, may they feel the embrace of this beloved community. And finally, let us pray for courage, courage which comes from the heart, and for sanctuary, a place where we can bring our broken hearts. Let us pray for courage and sanctuary so we may find hope going forward, now and always.
Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on. This one knocked me to the ground. This one dropped me to my knees. I should have seen it coming, but it blindsided me. Will you be my refuge, my heaven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? In a state of true believers, on streets of us and them, it's gonna take some change till the world feels safe again. Till the world feels safe again. Will you be my refuge, my heaven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I can carry on. Be my sanctuary till I can carry on.
Take a deep breath together. Let's see if this mic is working too. Let's see. Yes? Yeah, okay. You're extraordinary. Many years ago, a friend of mine used to send me these cards, and he would type little quotes in the cards in an unusual font, you know, not one of the ones, this was back in the days when typewriters had those little balls. And he had a funny one. And I always recognized when it came from him because the card would be typed in that font. We were both very young. I was a brand new minister, and he had left seminary and ministry to follow a different path. We lived a long way from each other and rarely spoke. Both of us were at that stage in our lives when we had many, many doubts about ourselves as adults, about the meaning of our childhood, about who and what we wanted to become. Now, for years, I kept the cards he sent me, and there was one that I can tell you truthfully changed my life. Though I've long since lost touch with this friend, I think of him whenever I return to this particular quote, these powerful words. I've preached on them over and over again. They mean so much to me. They were written by the marvelous poet of the late 19th, early 20th century, Rainer Maria Rilke. Now, Rilke's poems are beautiful and deeply spiritual and touch on many aspects of what it means to be human. But these words, however, are prose, and they come from a small book called Letters to a Young Poet, in which the older writer seeks to reassure the younger that his confusion and doubts have meaning and purpose. His advice is this:
If you have love for what is humble, and try very simply, as one who serves, to win the confidence of what seems poor, then everything will become easier for you, more coherent, and somehow more reconciling for you. Not in your conscious mind, perhaps, which lags marveling behind, but in your innermost awareness, waking and knowledge. You are so young, so much before all beginning, and I would like to beg you, my dear, as well as I can, to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign tongue. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything, to live the questions now, and perhaps then, someday, far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answers.
Wonderful words to reflect on, but before I do, let's sing Faith is a Forest, a wonderful hymn written by Shelley Jackson Denham. It's 194 in your hymnal. It's based on a Chinese melody, so it's got very interesting sounds to it, and we're going to add a little extra sound, so listen and see if you can hear the extra sound that's coming your way.
Inside can hear the still small voice deep inside.
Faith is a forest in which doubts play and hide. What a marvelous image. Now, I realize for many of us, the concept of faith carries complicated baggage. The word can conjure up expectations of believing what we're taught, accepting dogma as truth, blindly doing what we're told. But of course, we all know that faith means much more than that. And as songwriter Shelley Jackson Denham paints in her song, the image of doubt as a part of the forest of faith speaks to our liberal tradition. I grew up in this religion. How many of you grew up in this religion or near as? A pretty good handful of us. It means, because I grew up in this religion, means I was raised to be a doubter. Like many first-generation Unitarian Universalists, I was encouraged to question all beliefs that came my way. My parents were originally Methodists, but the reality of life in the mid-20th century and their questioning minds forced my folks to leave the religion of their childhoods for a new and more meaningful faith, our faith. But one could argue that it was doubt that brought them to faith. They doubted the tenets of their mainstream Christian church, particularly the covert and overt racism that overlaid the Southern congregations they grew up in. But they also discovered as adults that they could no longer be in a church that didn't honor their doubt. For to doubt the miracles of Jesus, the virgin birth, or the literal resurrection was to doubt the entire faith. And such doubt was enough to push them out into the brave new world of liberal religion, our religion, Unitarian Universalism. Now, how many of you could tell a similar story to my parents? It's a common tale among Unitarian Universalist people. It almost seems as if some of us are born with a doubting gene. I have heard stories throughout my 40 years as a UU minister of people who doubted as early as age 5 or 6 that the religious dogmas they were taught were true. And these are people, perhaps like most of us, who believe in challenging authority and tradition and in asking questions. Asking questions is, for many of us, the path to the religious life. And perhaps it's why I love the words of Rilke that my friend sent me so many years ago. Listen again to some of the poet's wise word to his young colleague. I would like to beg you to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. Don't search for the answers which would not be given to you now because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. What a powerful religious declaration. Live the questions now. Every one of us has questions that take us into deep places. Who am I? Do I belong here? Why was I born? Why must I die? What happens when I die? Is there a God? What is the best path to God? The questions go on and on. And all the great religions grew out of questions like these. Religious teachers like Jesus and Muhammad and the Buddha pondered the meaning of and asked questions about life and death. And though we know less about them, it's certain that other religious thinkers and leaders of ancient history, shamans and druids and wise women and the like, also asked and tried to answer such questions. And it's also certain that whatever answers people came up with to help cope with the powerful reality that we are born into this world and must leave it soon after, were questioned and doubted by at least some. It's how religion evolves and changes. Doubt leads to questions, and questions lead to new answers. But sadly, far too often, what happens is that what once were reasonable questions to ask become heresy when asked after a religion has been established. I mean, Jesus certainly questioned the orthodoxy of his day. One famous story tells how the Pharisees, who were the conservative religious leaders of the Jewish community, they chastised Jesus for picking some corn to eat on the Sabbath, a day when Jews were not supposed to work. And Jesus said these famous words, and I'm not going to nice them up because I think they have a power the way that we've all heard them as children. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. To the Pharisees, that was heresy. How could Jesus doubt, even flout, the law that came down from them from on high, came to them from on high? Now, Jesus, though, was wise enough to understand that religion and faith were not only about rules and dogma, but about trying to do the best we can in a complex world. My father used to say that Jesus was a genius in religion, just like Mozart was a genius with music. But Christianity, like every religion, has taken what was once living questions and turned them into answers carved in stone. And it's so sad that too many people think that Jesus taught such things as homophobia or hatred of other religions and told us how we must act at all times. Much of what we know of as modern conservative or fundamentalist Christianity today has become rock hard, rarely allowing for doubt of any kind. Now, this form of Christianity is shown in full flower in an independent film from some years ago called Higher Ground. Directed by its star, Vera Farmiga, it tells the story of a woman, her name is Corinne, who after a terrifying close call with loss becomes a part of a religious community that aims to base itself on Jesus and his teachings. And at first, this group is a powerful, saving force in Corinne's life. It gives her a home and a way to find peace in a scary world. And she is befriended by a woman who lives life so fully that even within what we might see as a confining religious community, she blossoms. And she encourages Corinne to do so as well. But Corinne discovers that she cannot simply accept all she is told about women, about marriage, about the secular world outside of the church. She is a reader, and she begins to ask questions. She begins to doubt. And when her dear friend is struck down suddenly, she cannot accept it as God's plan. Her faith is shaken. Now, some films would have had Corinne break totally free and reject her faith. Some films would have made fun of the religious community she is entangled in and presented it as a joke. Some might have had her punished for leaving her religion. But this is a film that takes religion and doubt seriously, which is what drew me to it. As A.O. Scott, a film critic for the New York Times, wrote,
Corinne's church, in spite of some cult-like aspects, is not depicted as an outpost of repression and hypocrisy, especially when Corinne is with her friend Annika, who speaks in tongues to God and with easy candor about sex. She feels loved and listened to. The patriarchal ways of the pastor and his wife grate on Corinne, in part because they stifle the intellectual curiosity that feeds her faith. But the secular world has its own compromises and blind spots. Corinne's gradual move away from her circle of believers is not presented as an unequivocal liberation. What faith and doubt have in common is that both are hard work.
Boy, I love that comment. What faith and doubt have in common is that they are both hard work. In my experience, this is absolutely true. Most of the Unitarian Universalists I know who left a church to become a part of ours did so after long and hard reflection. Their doubt is rarely simple rejection. Doubt can lead us away from faith, certainly, but in some powerful ways, it can lead us to faith. And here's where I want to take a bit of a turn. For you see, as much as I value doubt as a spiritual strength and know that human beings are wise to question the dogmas and orthodox ways of religion, I also believe that sometimes doubt can block us from finding faith in what we truly believe in. When we only doubt, we can become like some of those rampant atheists in the world today who ridicule all religion as blind and dogmatic. Doubt must have a gentle edge if it is to be a spiritual strength instead of a spiritual blind spot. And here I return to my beloved Rilke quote. Yes, he invites us to try to love the questions themselves and then to live the questions now. But note that he doesn't stop there. He goes on. Perhaps then someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. Live your way into the answer. Answers. Can it be possible for Unitarian Universalists to even have answers to the great religious questions? And there are some among us who would say no, and I understand why. Answers to big questions can quickly become dogma if we let them. But in a funny sort of way, liberal religious people like us sometimes turn doubt into an answer and allow doubt itself to become dogma. I've known plenty of folks who have told me to my face that I absolutely can't believe in anything like a God because it can't be true, or who dismiss the teachings of Jesus because they're not fact, or who belittle the religious beliefs of others because they see them as stupid. And honestly, I have fallen into that trap myself. Because there are times when I've allowed my doubt to turn into certainty. And oddly, when we do that, we follow in the footsteps of those we like to denigrate. But I believe that doubt can help us to find faith rather than destroy it. And Rilke talks about living the questions, and this is a wonderful image for doubt. Rather than seeing doubt as something negative, something that paralyzes us, takes us away from finding meaning and hope, living the questions allows us to live within the doubt, allowing it to emerge as a positive kind of, I don't know. Doubt can look a lot like wonder if we let it. And wonder so often leads to faith. I've learned to imagine the journey of faith somewhat like climbing a mountain with many wonderful views. As we live the questions, we hike the mountain path, discovering new things along the way. But then we reach a vista and we look out over the beautiful view. We discover we have an answer. And we rest in that answer, loving it as much as the questions. But inevitably, such answers give birth to more questions, and soon we're climbing the mountain again, living more questions until they too are answered. And in that answer, we rest. For us as liberal religious people, doubt allows us to accept that questions are as much of a part of the religious life as answers. Doubt challenges us to wonder and to look beyond simple dogma toward a faith that is complex. I mean, people often give me as a minister a hard time because I can't glibly spout dogma or doctrine to define my faith. But honestly, doesn't it seem stronger to have a faith that requires of us a questioning mind and an accepting heart? I mean, when we bring our whole selves into the pursuit of religious understanding, we can't help but have questions. No one knows what happens when we die. No one truly understands the meaning of suffering. No one has seen the face of God except through metaphor, story, and music. To be certain seems arrogant. And yet I would gently suggest that there are some things we can be certain about, and we should not let our doubt or even our questions keep us from living in the answers that are so obviously true. So what are those answers? Some I have lived into through my lifetime are these. We all come from the same source, and we share the same destiny. If there is anything like a God, its name is love. We are made of the same stuff as the stars. We are better together than we are apart. I will never fully let go of doubt. It's a spiritual strength that enables me to ask good questions and open my heart to wonder. But I will allow myself to live into the answers that lie beyond doubt in the realm of faith. I will allow myself to rest in my belief that all life is connected and love is always present. In unity and love, I find strength and faith. I will allow myself the gift of asking questions and living with them as I explore the boundaries of, as the great writer Doug Adams once said, life, the universe, and everything. And I will seek to love the mystery even as I let it be. And this song by Iris DeMent was a favorite of my late mother's. We sang it at her memorial service. And Jocko and I are happy to share it with you now.
Okay.
Everybody's wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody's worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be.
Some say once you're gone forever. And some say you're gonna come back. Some say you rest in the arms of a Savior if sinful ways you lack. Some say they're coming back in a garden bunch of carrots and a little sweet peas. I think I'll just let the mystery be.
Everybody's wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody's worrying about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one and so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say they're going to a place called glory, and I ain't saying it ain't a fact. But I've heard that I'm on the road to purgatory, and I don't like the sound of that. 'Cause I believe in love, and I live my life accordingly. And I choose to let that mystery be. Everybody's wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody's worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. I think I'll just let the mystery be. To live the questions is to open our hearts and minds to all that life has to teach us.
May we find power in our doubts and in our faith alike.
May we walk up the mountain together, taking time to relish the vistas,
Celebrating and rejoicing in the gift we are given just to live in this day.
So carry the flame of this faith and this community in your hearts, blessing the world with your faith and your doubt and your love. Amen, and blessed be. And we have a special way of closing here at Buff. We sing hymn number 155, Circle Round for Freedom. So let's circle round, friends. Let's circle round.